Hey everyone, this is the Innovator's Mindset with Alaina Clark. There we go. Did I say it? Was that good? Did I say
Yes,
it right?
you got it. You got it.
Listen, I actually connected with Alaina. We connected on Instagram. I saw she does work with TeacherGoals. Just an amazing organization. And one of the things I really appreciate about, by the way, Alaina, I just spent an hour talking about everything.
Yeah, we did.
Would have been an amazing. It's all about the connections, Alaina. So
It is. It
it's all
is.
about the connections. So we just had a great conversation. Just totally my people, and I just appreciate all the work that you and your organization do to support teachers all over the world. So I know that it's a huge organization. You do some really
Mhm.
incredible stuff. And to meet people behind the scenes that do this work and you're just awesome makes me even appreciate your work even more. So thanks for being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah. So I was like doing some like research on Lena and I was telling her, so she does has a background in science stuff. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
don't ask me science stuff because I will fail that test. So instead of me telling your experience, can you tell everyone who you are, what you do today, and how you got there? I think it's a really great place to start.
Yeah, that's usually the biggest question I always get is if people are interested in how I ended up in education. So my background is originally in chemistry. So I went to school for chemistry and biology, and I worked for many years out of college as a bioanalytical chemist
Mhm.
here in this Indianapolis. And then my ex-husband actually was the one that started TeacherGoals.
Oh, really?
And yes,
I did
yeah,
not know that.
so I was like, I was going to share that more for because people find this very
Yeah.
interesting. It's a very interesting background, but he always was the one working full time as a teacher, and kind of started it as a hobby in the background. And then over the years, I slowly started getting more and more involved with the business, with the back end of it. And even though I didn't naturally have a background in education, I always like to say I'm a technically non-teacher raised by teachers.
Right.
So my mom was a teacher, my sister's a teacher, my other sister's a school psychologist. So it's always kind of been in my blood in a way. Um, but slowly just kind of started getting involved in TeacherGoals, started taking over some of the back end stuff. And then when we started doing more publishing and stuff,
Right.
I kind of just got so involved that it didn't make sense for me to go back to working as a scientist after my kids were older. And so now I've been running TeacherGoals behind the scenes for a while now.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really appreciate, I find the stuff that you do is very uplifting. And I
Yes, thank
also
you.
find that it's you really empower voices, and that's something
Yeah.
that I think is really, really powerful. So, for the one person who might not know what Teacher Goals is, because like
Yes.
everyone knows what it is, just explain what is Teacher Goals and like what is the focus of your organization.
Yeah. And so for us, TeacherGoals really is this just amazing online community.
Hmm.
So we're really all about community. So it really started as a place to where teachers could go online, follow our pages, connect with each other, find something educational from our page, or a lot of times find something that would just uplift them or
Yeah.
make them laugh a little bit that
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
And that's really how it started. It was really a page that really teachers connected with, and I think it just made their jobs a little bit easier. Whether it was from a funny post we did or maybe a free event we did, we really were just bringing all these people together online. And then slowly, Teacher Goals has developed more into what other things can we provide for a community to
Hmm.
uplift them, which has come with us publishing books for educators, doing professional development for educators, doing some of our live podcasts, just really giving back to the teachers that have supported us for a really long time.
Yeah, and I like. Okay, maybe I'm gonna feel guilty. The stuff I love I really appreciate the empowerment. The funny stuff is
Yes,
where that's
yes.
my jam.
I
That's my
mean, I
jam.
mean,
I
I'm not
love it.
gonna lie, like that's I mean, even though I think we provide some amazing
Mhm.
like educational content, events that teachers can learn from, people come back to our pages
Yep.
for those funny memes. I mean, like that is the heart of Teacher Goals.
Yep.
We like you could just go on our pages right now, and if it's not going to give you like a giggle here and there just by
Mhm.
reading some of our recent stuff. And that's what we really want to do. Like, teaching's hard,
Mhm.
education is tough. Sometimes you need something that you can just doom scroll on your phone and make your job feel a little bit easier that day and make you like, you know, joke with the other educators
Right.
that know what you're going through. It
Yeah.
really kind of is a place for that. Like
My
kind of how you said you like to read the comments.
I do.
Sometimes the
I'm like
sometimes the
obsessed with it.
comments are funnier than the
Uh-huh.
meat, like reading the other teachers, like what jokes they came up with, or like sometimes that's the best part.
I think TikTok commenters should be a job because some of them are
Yes.
just are so like, oh, that was way funnier than the first video. That was amazing. Your comments.
I know, I
Oh.
know. I'm always amazed by like how funny like just average people are.
I will send a video to my wife and I'll just write first comment. It's like
Yes.
that's amazing. The first comment is incredible. Uh,
Just go straight to it.
my mentor Kelly Wilkins, when you have some really tough stuff that you deal with in education, and I
Yeah.
just heard she'd always say to me, if you wouldn't laugh, you'd cry, and I was like, I'm gonna pick laughing as much as I can, right? And so
Yep.
it gets you through some stuff. It's not that you're ignoring
Yep.
issues, but it's like, hey, this is. Hey, something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Make a little jokey joke, like it's
Well, we like
I'm gonna
to
deal
say
with
that
that.
like we like to share what's funny, fantastic,
Yeah,
and frustrating about education.
and it's sometimes exactly the same thing.
And sometimes exactly. It's all, I mean, something in education encompasses all three of those things.
I love it. And so you and I were talking about this, that as much as it does like some of the funny stuff, the stuff
Yeah.
you're doing some really incredible initiatives, and you started talking about this before. I'm like, no, I want to save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
You talked about World Read Aloud Day, and
Yes.
you and I were talking. I'm a as much as I talk about innovation, literacy is the foundation for all of that stuff.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
tell me a little bit about that initiative and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so we just hosted World Read Aloud Day online, and that actually is an event that was started by the nonprofit Lit World.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly when they started World Read Aloud Day, but about 3 years ago, we started hosting our own online virtual World Read Aloud Day event. And so, of course, the event is really just to get kids excited about reading, get our educators excited about reading, and we hosted a 4 hours straight virtual pretty much readathon
Wow.
where we had a new author come on every 30 minutes, read their book. We did giveaways and prizes, and it's my favorite event we do all year. We had over 13,000 people register, and we had, I think, now counting, we've had about 3,000 to 4,000 views. We had people tuning in from all over the US, Canada, Croatia, Germany, Vietnam, everywhere. And it's just an amazing event. We have whole classrooms, whole libraries tuning in, watching these authors.
My oldest daughter is
Mm-hmm.
9 years old. She
Yeah.
is she has read more books than I've read at 50.
Yeah.
It's not even
That's
close.
that's great.
She and I. It is one of the things she appreciates that I write, and I think she kind of
Yep.
wants to be an author. Even though it's weird, I don't really. Even though I've written several books, I don't see myself as an author. I'm just someone sharing some ideas with people
Yeah.
and in written form. I know it's technically the author, but
You're
whatever.
technically an author,
Technically,
buddy. I
that's an
hate to break
author.
it to you.
But that is it's something, and I know that seeing adults read that stuff is something kids are
Yeah,
really drawn to. So that's incredible. And I know, like, I just
they are.
sometimes when she says stuff, I'm like, where are you getting these words from? And it's just,
Yeah.
but it is, it makes such an impact. And
And
our
the thing
yeah,
that I loved about it so much is that I found really interesting about this last year specifically is two things, is that so many of our students, our young students,
right.
kindergartners, they're so fascinated with actually what it takes to become an author,
Mhm.
what it takes to, so we kind of did like a Q&A section at the end of every author slot. And so many of our students are interested on how you write a book, how you illustrate a book, how do I become an author? And then another thing that I also loved is I found it really amazing for the authors to share their story about so many of them didn't become an author until they were 35,
Mhm.
50. they had rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. And they started out in a career here and the career took them there. And that was something that we really explored. And I was really just encouraged by how much the students really wanted to ask our authors all those type of questions.
Well, so I don't know if how much you know about my background. I was a principal, and we wanted to start a digital portfolio initiative. And
Yeah.
the whole reason I started writing in the first place was we were trying to do this thing that nobody knew how to do because we had never did it as kids. So
Yeah.
I just started a blog slash portfolio, and I'm like, I'm gonna kind of go through this process. And I was like, this is actually really good. This is really helping
Yeah.
me. And so I had no intention. I'm going to write one day. It's like
Yep.
the only reason I was trying to figure this out. And we wanted a writing component. And one of the things I've been talking about with people quite a bit is when you write online and people can
Mm-hmm.
read all the time, it's not a, obviously an opportunity to share your voice, which is really powerful,
Yeah.
but it's finding your voice is that the more you write, the
Yeah.
more you kind of find what you're interested in. And so I think
Yep.
that's something that really matters to me. And I try to, I wish I know I'm like an old man that wants people to blog still. And I
I
know that's
like
like, I'll get
blogging.
it.
Hey, I like
I think
blogging
it's
too.
good. I think it just
I
pushes
like
my
blogging.
thinking, right? I think it
Yep.
pushes my thinking in a way that nothing else ever has. And so
Yeah.
I advocate for something that has benefited me. So I just love that. And, kind of talking about some of the work that you're also doing. I know you said you have like you're doing some like tech live sessions and
Yes.
giving people opportunity. Tell people about what that is and how they can find it.
Yeah, so right now on Teacher Goals channels, so really if you follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, or Facebook, we do a lot of live events online, like I mentioned just now, World Read Aloud Day. But right now, every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, we're doing a Teacher Goals Tech Talk Live podcast, and it streams out to all of our channels. And we did a live season during FETC. And then right now we have our current season is going to go all the way until the end of March.
Yep.
And we have a women powered focus season. So all of our guests this whole season are going to be women in ed tech.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about that. We have some awesome guests lined up and some more we're going to be booking. But we just tune in, we interview women that are just doing awesome things out in education and the technology world and education specifically. And kind of like this, have a great conversations and people can tune in and ask questions.
Okay, so if I have to cut this, you can tell me to cut this. But you had
Yeah.
Rachel Edoakit was one of them, correct?
Yes.
I'm allowed to
Yes.
say that?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay,
you are.
I
Yes.
didn't. Okay, so that didn't
Yeah.
get cut. And
No, yep.
she is incredible and
She is.
blessed to have her.
And she's a Teacher Goals author.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So
Oh,
her book is a Teacher Goals book. She's one of the books we published.
well, she actually. Oh, I actually. Which book did you have her published with you?
Relational intelligence.
Yeah, like I actually had her on my podcast to talk about it. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yep.
she wrote the forward for Forward Together, and I was like,
Yep.
really. I gave it to her because I'm like, hey, I would love her to write the forward, but I want her to read
Yeah.
it to tell me if it sucks.
Yeah.
Because like, and she gave me, she's like, no, it's really good. So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
is the she is the most. I don't know how she does it, but she like constantly like pumps me up. I'm like, oh, I feel so
Yes.
special. I'm like, oh, she does that for like everybody ever in the world. Like, it's incredible. The
She's
energy
one of those
she has.
people that like if you get off a
Incredible.
call with her, she's
Yeah.
gonna make you feel like
Yeah.
uplifted and very thankful. She's a
Awesome.
very, very thankful
Yeah.
person.
Making such
Yeah.
an impact on the world of education. Okay, last question I got for you. So
Yeah.
I know this is never going to happen, but let's say Teacher Goals shuts its doors one day, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think
Yeah.
it is. I think it's like going to be well, as long as we're using technology in the world, which is
Yeah.
So what do you hope is if you ever shut down the doors, what would be
Yeah.
the impact of the organization? What did you ultimately want to say like, hey, this is what we did for education? So deep, eh?
Wow,
So
this
deep.
is yeah, that is. And I kind of want people to remember teacher goals, just like this kind of how I would want people to remember me. Because, when you build a business like you have, it's kind of a part of you as
Right.
well. I want teacher goals to be seen as almost like a best friend support for educators
I
out
love
there.
that. Yeah.
I want people to remember teacher goals as this like best friend they could come to when they needed advice, they needed a laugh, they needed community, they needed help finding another good friend. I hope Teacher Goals is kind of like remembered as that.
Mhm. Well, we were kind of joking about this. Like
Yeah.
it's all about connections,
So the connections.
right?
It's
But
all about the friendships, George.
this is like the reality, and I think this is we were kind of joking about that. Like there's more to it, but you
Yeah,
don't get to it. You don't get to the deep stuff without building that community and having some place.
exactly.
I know that when I first started on social media, there was this like social media is like an echo chamber,
Yeah,
and I remember writing a post. I'm like, yeah, it is. And you know where it's not an echo chamber? In my own district, because some of the stuff I'm saying they're thinking is idiotic or whatever. So I
yeah,
wanted to go see, like, am I really off base? And you start
yeah,
connecting, and then you start seeing what other people are doing. And I remember one of the things I used to do as a principal, I used to find this great work from other
yeah.
people who would say the same thing I was doing, and I would
Yep.
send it out to my staff, and they're like, "That person's brilliant." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been
Saying the
saying that.
exact
I've been
same
saying
thing I
that."
was saying.
But sometimes you just need to hear from someone else, and so
Yeah,
I think that having those support groups and having those friendships and building
yep,
that helps us do better work. And I think that's what matters. And like ultimately that is the goal, but it's
yep.
really hard to do that when you don't feel supported. So that's like one of the reasons I want to have you on, because I know you're doing such an amazing job
Thank you.
supporting teachers and making a positive impact on them to really elevate their voices. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And honestly, like it, I can now it's like weird because now I'm just gonna like think it's I can hear you every time you post now because I can just kind of tell it's your personality, right? So it's very
Yes.
cool to
Yes. Thank you.
kind of learn about you.
You're
So
gonna see a teacher goals post up, and there'll be a bubble of me right there.
so anyways, make sure you connect with Alaina. Also, obviously connect with all the teacher goal sites. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, Alaina, for having
Thank
taking
you
the
for
time.
having me.
Way more time than what was planned because we had a great conversation prior. But thanks to everyone for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.